Hello there folks, my name is Spoonks and I saw Wicked for Good and I really enjoyed it. Now admittedly, I was a bit skeptical on this movie, not that I didn't love the first one or that the movie itself looked bad. I just heard so many thoughts on the second act from fans of the original Broadway musical saying that the second act, to put it lightly, completely falls apart. So I was worried that they might not be able to stick the landing after everything I've heard and everything that has been said from fans of the Broadway musical. But I'm happy to report that while yes, it isn't as good as Act 1, I still found this to be a solid follow-up to the first film. I really enjoyed myself watching this. One thing that sets this apart from the first one is that the first one is more about setting up the world and exploring the depths of the characters. This one is more about the story and the drama, and I think it excels at that. I was really engaged with the story and the drama. The stakes are a lot higher, and everything that happens is a lot bigger and grander and has more conflict and consequences throughout this movie. Not to say that the first one didn't have any of that, but this is definitely a lot more focused on that, and the story is always on the move, moving at a brisk pace, which is the film's strength and a bit of its weakness. We'll talk about that later, but I always felt the movie was constantly on the move, and I love the ideas and themes it explores throughout the film. I thought they executed them really well, and it never felt forced or too on the nose or anything. And speaking of the characters, the two standouts once again are Glinda and Elphaba. Seeing their relationship after their quote-unquote fallout and seeing how it progresses throughout this part of the story was really captivating, and you really do care for the characters and want them to reunite and be friends again, but you also understand why they make their decisions and how they act. And obviously Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande did excellently in their performances. They elevate definitely a lot of the material, and definitely in the singing department as well. They just bring all of the energy and passion to the songs, even when a lot of the songs are a bit weaker here. Again, more on that later. And I still found the side characters to be really likable, even if they aren't given as much to do in this one as the previous one. They're more correlated and tied to, like, again, the story and the drama of it all, but I still found their roles to be really important and likable, and I really cared to see what would happen to all the characters, especially how it correlated to the original story of The Wizard of Oz. And speaking of which, there are a lot of connections to the original Wizard of Oz, and I think the movie actually handled that stuff quite well. It actually provided a unique perspective on that story, and of course some of it seemed a bit forced and fan servicey, but for the most part I found the connections to service well to the story, and it actually connected pretty well to the original Wizard of Oz, pretty well in my opinion. And just like the last film, the movie ends on a high note. Not as high as the last one, but certainly a sweet little ending here for this movie. The final number, Change for Good, just absolutely moved me, not to tears, but it definitely warmed my heart a bit. And the resolution and climax, or resolutions, because there's a lot of, and it's one of those movies that has multiple endings, but the resolution, the final resolution at least, definitely ended things on a sweet, nice little note. And that final shot will definitely win fans of the musical. If you're a fan, if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. But let's just say that final shot will seal the deal for a lot of people. And I still think that the emotional moment and heart of the story still feel earnest, and definitely, like I said, warmed my heart still. The movie still knows how to deliver some strong emotional sequences thanks to the strong writing and lovable characters. But unfortunately, like I said earlier in the video, this is not as strong as the first one, and thus there are some problems that hold it back. The biggest problem for me is just that the songs are not as good here as they were in the original. They're not bad, they're not horrible, they won't make you sit in your seat and go, another song. They're just some songs here that just do not, like, resonate, like, strongly. Like in the first one, almost every song pretty much worked for me. I got excited every time a new musical number was about to happen. With this one, it just felt like, okay, it's another song. But the two that definitely stuck out to me were No Good Deed. God, that was really one of my favorite ones, and the sequence was excellent. And again, the final number, Change for Good, really warmed my heart. I just wish more of the songs were like those two, as the rest I found to be at best all right, and at worst just a bit forgettable. And like I said earlier as well, sometimes the pacing can be the film's weakness. It feels like there are certain aspects that feel a bit rushed. You could probably add to the timing and the runtime of the film to that. This is a lot shorter than the original. I think maybe had they, stuck with the original film's length, maybe it would have added a bit more to make certain scenes and things happening in this movie not feel as rushed as they did here. And yes, some of the callbacks to the original Wizard of Oz feel a bit forced and fan servicey, and the ending does go on for a while. Again, multiple endings. They could have done a better job of smoothing things out to where the climax doesn't feel like it's going on forever or it has multiple endings. Again, this is one of the few instances where the runtime could have been shortened, maybe just shorten the climax a bit and maybe just lengthen some other sequences. But even with those flaws, I still thoroughly enjoyed Wicked for Good. Again, it's not as good as the original film. That movie was just such a high bar, and it was definitely a tough act to follow, but I think the filmmakers still got the job done well here. I think this was a worthy successor to the first one. Again, it's got issues, but I still enjoyed the story, the drama, the characters, and even some of the connections to the original Wizard of Oz. If you were a massive fan of the first film, you're obviously gonna really, really dig this. Maybe not as much as that film, but I still think you will enjoy a lot of what this movie has to offer. Or even if you were a casual fan, I still think you might get some enjoyment out of it. Again, just don't expect anything on the level of the first film here. So those were my thoughts on Wicked for Good. What did you all think of it? If you've seen it, did you like it? Did you hate it? Comment down below and let me know. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you like this channel, hit the subscribe button. Follow me on all those social media links at the end of the video. And until next time, everyone, stay sharp.
No good deed goes unpunished. No act of charity goes unresented. No good deed goes unpunished. That's my creed.